Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the intricacies of buying and selling a home at the same time. There's a lot to juggle when it comes to that. So we're going to be talking about pros and cons of doing it, what that timeline looks like, and some maybe different suggestions for the buying and selling process that some people didn't really consider before. Thanks for joining me today, and be sure to like and subscribe if you like this content, and be sure to comment down below if you have any questions at all throughout this entire process. Now, what I want to go through is the difficulties of buying and selling at the same time. Yes, there's some difficulties behind it, but if you set yourself up for success, you'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll actually really be okay. So, one big thing I really encourage you to do if you are looking to sell your house while also looking for a house, set yourself up for success. Meet months prior. Normally, I am meeting with clients about 3 months before we're really looking to list. The reason being, we want to start looking at the market. We want to start seeing if the market is actually giving us some inventory that we like, as well as there might be some projects that I'm suggesting you do that will add more value or get your house off the market quicker. So what I mean by that, normally I am meeting with clients, I'm having a consultation, I'm saying in the current market that we're meeting, this is what you would walk away with a seller net of everything closing cost wise. This is the check you would get at the closing table with the proceeds from having your house. The reason buying and selling at the same time is becoming so popular is because there's a lot of people who need to time it right, because the equity they're taking from the house they're selling, they're then using as their down payment in the new home. So they need to sell their house, take that equity, and put it down as a down payment on the new home. That's why it's becoming so popular of a lot of people looking to really set up the dominoes all in order. I've started getting really good at this. There are a couple of different ways to handle the buying and selling timeline and process, so some people aren't feeling as rushed. It just depends on what's best for you. Let's start with a simple first meet, right? We're going to discuss, here's what you can get from the property if you sell. Here's a seller net sheet estimated. If we sell it at this price and you pay off your mortgage and everything else, here is what you would actually walk away with at the closing table. That gives you a better idea of what you can do down payment wise for your next home. At the same time, we're talking about these are projects you should do to either add value or help the house sell quicker. Or these are the projects that you're asking me about that I don't think you should do because they would just be a waste of time and not return you anything on your investment. So we're walking through that. The reason 3 months is normally what I like to suggest is sometimes it takes people a while to get those projects done. Depends if you're meeting with a contractor. Nowadays, it feels like you have to call 10 contractors to get 3 to show up, to have 1 maybe send you a quote. So with that timeline, we're setting up of, okay, you're looking to list by this time. We already want to start looking, especially here in Northern Kentucky, inventory's low. I'm calling off-market properties. I'm calling agents who have pocket listings that aren't on the MLS yet. That is how most agents are finding their deals. So when it comes to actually setting yourself up for success, what I like to recommend, we get you pre-approved. You start your projects on the house. Once those are complete, we take listing photos. The best time frame possible is we're finding you a home, getting you under contract with the contingency that we can buy this house as long as your house sells. Some people are going to tell you that's impossible. It's not really impossible. It's not. It's going to take longer. You're going to need to be patient. I have plenty of times submitted an offer where I would rather just submit it for you than just assume. And I get it accepted, even though it's contingent upon another property selling. Yes, it's a little bit more difficult. It is not impossible. Do not listen to those who tell you that it's a waste of time. It's not. I've done it plenty of times. The good news is if we have your house prepped, ready to sell, we have the listing photos, we have everything set up to where we can be. If we get you under contract, I can have you listed within 12 hours, no problem. So that's kind of setting us up for success of we're under contract, we're asking for a few more days with closing and everything just to give us a time frame to close. Realistically, if you have the right lender, most lenders can get you closed within 20 to 30 days. I have had lenders that I work with here locally close me a lot faster. It just depends on your lender, and setting yourself up for success with the right lender really matters. Looking for a home for you as the seller is a lot easier than you as the seller selling your home. The reason being, this is the number one question I get from my sellers when I am talking to them and we are sitting at the kitchen table talking about the entire process, the entire timeline. The number one question I get from my sellers, probably because they're all mid-30s like me and our animals are our child. What do I do with the dogs during the showings? Yes, you just love on them. And let's be real, 9 times out of 10 with cats, we really don't need to worry about them being in the property. Now, here are some different alternatives because most cats are gonna hide. You are gonna have those friendly cats that walk around and everything. And I'm sure there's a certain percentage of you that have those cats of they are escape artists. There are plenty of times on this showing details I've seen, please do not let the cat escape or go outside. So that's a common thing too. However, when it comes to cats, they're a little bit easier to wrangle or kind of just not be there versus dogs running around and barking and being excited that people are there. So there's a couple of alternatives. I'm gonna put you down, you little parrot. So when it comes to, we've looked at a house, we're under contract, we now need to show your house to buyers. What are you gonna do with the fur animals? If you don't have fur animals, that's a simple solution. We just don't worry about it. If you do, I do recommend dogs wise, if you're working from home, maybe you go on walks with the dogs while the showings are happening. If you have family around, maybe they can stay at grandma and grandpa's for a little bit while the house is being looked at by potential buyers. I've had some sellers where they take their dogs to doggy daycare or maybe to doggy boarding for just the weekend, hopefully to get under contract sooner rather than later. There are those options as well. There's a lot of different ways. I mean, I've even gone to a house to go take a dog on a walk while showings are happening. It just depends. We've got to get creative with it, but we do have to remember working around the dogs, working around the fur babies is just as important, because when you want the buyers walking in, you want them focused on the house, not how adorable your children are. So that's the number one question I get. The number two question I get is, Adam, will this be able to line up? The answer is usually yes. I can't ever guarantee anything. However, I've done this enough times, knock on wood, I haven't run into too many complications. I just want you to understand that at the end of the day, yes, a contingent offer in our current market here in Northern Kentucky is a little bit harder, but it is not impossible. So if someone is telling you it's impossible, show them this video where I'm telling them to shut up. So right now, with inventory where it is here in Northern Kentucky, things are starting to go up. We're reaching into a spring market. Things are heating. However, that does not mean we're back in 2016 where there were a lot of options and I could pick 6 houses a week from now to show you, and all 6 of them would be available a week later for me to still show you. I'm thankful enough to show clients 2 houses back to back right now when it comes to inventory. It all depends on the inventory and the price range. So what I actually have a lot of buyers doing right now who also have homes to sell, we're looking at new build construction. The reason we're looking at new build construction, we are getting under contract. And if you're looking at like a subdivision builder here, like Drees or Fisher Homes, for example, here in the Northern Kentucky area, that's usually taking 8 to 9 months after contract is signed to build and be in your home. If we know and have an estimate of a time frame, really what that is giving us is we have X amount of time to get you all listed and closed before we actually close on your new build. However, this is allowing you to pick your home, prepare yourself. We are meeting 2 to 3 times within the build process, specifically talking about your home. talking about, okay, this is where we are current comps wise. This is where I think we should list. These are the projects I think you should do. Normally, I don't like to talk about listing and being a little bit more exact with a date until we get to the pre-drywall meeting. The foundation is laid, the actual framing of the house is put up, insulation is put up where it needs to be done, and they're about to drywall everything. Once the drywall is in, the roof's already on and everything, multiple contractors can be in the home at the same time instead of waiting for one contractor after another. From there, we're scheduling a meeting the next week to talk about, now that we have a rough time frame of when the new build will be closed, this is when I want to list you. Typically, your neighborhood takes 10 days on market to get under contract. Let's go with that, of me looking at the stats for your neighborhood. So I want to go ahead and list you 2 months beforehand. So with the builder updating us, what we're looking to do is get you listed, get you under contract, get a post-occupancy. And post-occupancy means we closed on your house, let's say April 20th, and we're allowing you to have 7 to 10 days post-occupancy, meaning you can live there until April 30th if we have 10 days post-occupancy. From there, our goal is to then close you on the new build within that time frame. So again, that's us having a better understanding of when we can actually close you. That's the new build side of things. Now again, there are times if you're working resale wise where it might be a little bit slower, it might take a little bit more time for someone to actually accept a contingent offer. When you're looking through the timeline, this is the part that I really find it more important to have the listing photos taken sooner rather than later. If you're going the new build route, we can set you up for success and we can take time, we can do a little bit of a breather. If you're looking to go resale wise, I would much rather have you locked and loaded that I can list you in a heartbeat, because we need to react as soon as we have you under contract. There is a third option where we list you, get you under contract, and just ask for a longer extension. That does limit your window to find a new property. However, it's not the end of the world. Anything and everything is possible. Everything works out the way it's supposed to in real estate. I know you've probably heard that before, but it really does. Some folks don't have to list and have the equity in their bank account to put down a down payment, move out, and then sell their house. That's okay. That's not the audience I'm talking to right now. The audience I'm talking to right now, like you're looking to sell your house as the same time you're looking to buy and use the equity from the sale of your home to buy the new home. That is a lot more of the norm currently. So that is who I'm trying to talk to about different options. So you got the build option. You've got the resale where we're locked and loaded with listing photos ready. As soon as you're under contract, we are listing your property. The third option is we list before we found you a property. That can make your contingent offer stronger, especially if I can tell the listing agent you're already through inspections and we've moved forward. So we're just waiting on the appraisal. That can help with your offer and make it stronger. That just does limit your time window to find an actual home that fits what you want without kind of settling and saying, hey, I just need to make an offer on something and I don't see anything worth my time. So those are really the 3 sales options. I do have sellers who sell their home and go, you know what, Adam? I don't know where I want to live right now. I don't even know if I want to be in Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky at this point. I'm going to go ahead and sign a 6-month to 12-month lease somewhere. After I sell my home, I'm going to take some time. I'm going to downsize, and that's also fine. So that is really a 4th option. Sell your home, rent, and then start the home search process 3 to 4 months before your lease is up. The reason I like to say 3 to 4 months, it just depends on your lease. Most leases will require you to notify them 60 days prior to your lease ending if you're re-signing with them or not. So I like to say 3 to 4 months is your best opportunity to start looking for a home, feel like you're set up for success, get pre-approved, and actually find something, as long as you're still taking the equity from the sale of your home months prior. So if you are looking the rental route, there are people who are taking the equity from the sale of their home, putting it into an IRA, a Roth, some sort of investment fund account where they're actually making more money on the equity from the sale of their home, and then just going to use that as a down payment when they're ready. So I want to summarize, because there are different loans that we could talk about, like bridge loans and things like that. There's the construction loans that we can talk about. I don't want to go too in depth with that. I just really want to talk about timeline of the best set for success that I'm seeing right now is either new builds, where we just have a guaranteed you're under contract. This is when we're aiming to close. This is when we're going to list you. The resale aspect is going to be, all right, we have listing photos for you already. We're just going to be patient and start putting in offers contingent upon listing and selling your property. The third option is realistically, hey, we're already listed. We're through inspection. We're making an offer. We need to close by this time. Hopefully we can get all that worked out. Or the fourth option is really, hey, we're going to sell. We want to figure out our lives and figure out what's best for us. In 6 to 12 months, we're going to start looking to buy another home, maybe, or we're looking to relocate. I have a lot of different people go a lot of different places. So again, the fact is it's what's best for you when it comes to the buying and selling timeline. Those are things I go over usually 3 to 4 months before even really getting serious about looking or listing or anything like that. That's why I always recommend having that meeting prior. Normally I'm meeting 2 or 3 times with my sellers that are looking to do everything all at the same time before we do everything all at the same time. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If you want to set up an appointment, my Calendly is in the description. I would love to just have a conversation with you. Even if you're not in the Northern Kentucky area, feel free to reach out to me. I can either set you up with an agent in your area, or I can ask the basic questions of, hey, here's just so you know for your knowledge, and kind of go from there. Do feel free to subscribe and like this video, share this with somebody that you think might be helping, but I appreciate your time and I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about the next topic.